just normally, like, stuff hits me. I'm waking up in the morning, I'm having a coffee, or I'm in the shower, or something says, you know what, you need to do this. And I tell whoever that is in there, I say, okay, you know what, I think you're right.
That's what Cal thinks of in the shower. What I think of in the shower is, I've got to start working out more. I got way too much to wash, but let's not go there. This show has completely gone off the wheels, and we're 20 seconds into it. Welcome to the Red and Blue Review. Gupper and the gang talking a lot of basketball in this show today. Darrell Byrd back from a trip to Nashville, where Kentucky came out with the win, just barely. They should have come out with a blowout win.
They should have had a blowout win. I kept making the comment at halftime, you should be up by a whole lot more than 11. And honestly, let's be real honest here, they should have lost that game.
They should have.
It was a good lesson for them. Come out of Camp Cal, you say, okay, SEC's tough. Okay, they learned I can't play half the game because these teams won't quit. They'll come back on you. So lesson learned, probably a better lesson to squeak out than had they gone on 1 by 30.
And a good start so far in the basketball season, obviously, for the third or fourth ranked, whatever poll you're looking at, Louisville Cardinals, Howie.
Absolutely. And Louisville's going through a stretch now where I think 3 out of the next 4 games, maybe 4 out of the next 5 are against NCAA tournament teams. So we'll see just how good Louisville is and how much progress they've made because they're going to be testing that Big East.
Red and Blue Review coming to you this week from Oxmoor Country Club. Yes, it is January, and look at these conditions. It is golf weather if we've ever seen it. It won't be long before we'll have survived the winter, and you're going to be looking for a place to play golf. We would suggest to you Oxmoor Country Club. It's a great layout, a family atmosphere. Go to oxmoorcc.com for more information. All right, let's get into it, talking some hoops right now in the lightning round. The lightning round on the Red and Blue Review is brought to you by the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety, who's reminding you that one text or call could wreck it all. The big man on campus this week for the Kentucky Wildcats with that narrow win in Nashville is Willie Cauley-Stein. Pretty good line for the freshman. 7 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 blocks, 2 steals.
He's just getting more confident again. He's starting to perform on the basketball court, and he knows now he can do it. See, all the talk and all the other stuff, it's not about that. It is about going on that court and performing, and knowing I can do this if I choose to do it. Their confidence is going to come from demonstrated performance.
Absolutely. Willie has really come on. You got to remember, he's the one with the least amount of experience. He's the one who in high school preferred football over basketball, so he was a 7-foot wide receiver, which is something, another mental image to have there. So it's taken him. He hasn't been playing the game as long, and you hear that a lot about big men a lot of times, and just his natural athletic ability. Cal is putting him on the point of that full court press because he's that quick. This guy's just going to get better. His ceiling is way up there, and he's going to be one of those that makes tremendous strides throughout the season.
And he is one of those guys that perhaps when the season is over, you don't think he's NBA ready. But because of his upside, he's probably going to go anywhere.
And he'll be a lot closer to NBA ready by the time this season is over than you think, too.
The big man on campus this week for the University of Louisville isn't even on their campus. It's not yet. The top wide receiver in Kentucky to come out of here in a long time, high school I mean, is James Quick out of Trinity, who committed on national television to the Cardinals.
James Quick out of Louisville, and this is one of the most highly anticipated selections of the day because for a long time many people thought Louisville was the one in the lead, but he came to San Antonio and said Ohio State was in the lead. So I think the recruiting experts have no idea which one's going to get picked here. We have Mom Janine, Dad Ron over there. James, who's it going to be?
First off, I want to thank God, and I also want to thank my family and my coaches, and I also want to thank all the coaches that recruited me. But I'm going to the University of Louisville.
He's going to stay in the hometown and go to the University of Louisville. Now, how much did Dad have to do with this? Because your dad played football and ran track at Louisville.
He had a big factor in it, but, you know, it was ultimately my decision. So, you know, this Card Nation.
Big bowl win for Charlie Strong, Mike Farrell, and a big pickup today.
Yeah, huge pickup for them. And, you know, again, like Marty said, he showed up here and said Ohio State was his leader. So I don't know if the bowl game had to do anything to do with it or if he's just sort of playing around. But this is a kid that does everything well.
And he does everything well. You look at James Quick, he's, if you want speed, he's, you know, second in the 100 meters, and he won the 200 meters. Very close to Olympic qualifying time in the 200 meters, which is crazy as a high school junior. If you want size, he's got 6'1", 180-something pounds. If you want hands, he's got the best hands at the U.S. Army All-American Bowl. This is probably the best prospect out of this city I guess since Brian Braun. I mean, it's been a while.
Right before the Kentucky-Louisville football game, we were talking to Charlie Strong about how important that game is to in-state recruiting. And Charlie said at the time, well, it doesn't matter because Kentucky and Louisville are both losing in-state recruits. That's clearly changed now with this addition of James Quick.
It has, and what he was referring to there was Lamar Dawson, who went out to USC, and of course he's tremendous out there. But Charlie was really offended that a player of that caliber would not visit Louisville, would not consider Louisville more highly, and I think that's a big change. And keep your eye on this thing because Jason Hatcher, who's also committed to USC, Louisville's going after him hard, and I'm hearing that Louisville's got a very good shot at him.
Well, who got busted this week in Planet Blueville would have to be Vanderbilt and that old Memorial Coliseum down there. Let me show you the last part of that Kentucky basketball game where Nerlens Noel gets credited for a last-second shot that beat the shot clock buzzer according to the officials, but when you look back at it, clearly his shot was released after the clock hit 0. So the question is why couldn't that be reviewed by the officials? That's what the officials told the broadcast crew. We can't go back and look at it. Do we know why they couldn't go back and look at it?
Upon reading the rules, it says it can be reviewed, shot clock, at the end of halves or the end of overtime. Now, of course, this was not the end of a half. But what's odd about it is I've seen officials review shot clock violations before. I guess they were just in violation of the rule.
Probably so.
Now, part of it goes back to the fact that Memorial Coliseum or Memorial Gym, what do they call it down there?
The Opera House.
The Opera House. It's hard to figure out where the shot clock is because it's not in the usual location, right around the upright.
Vandy has no one to blame on this, but Vandy. The call was wrong, but who puts the shot clock off to the side? It's supposed to be on top where everybody else in the world has it. Who doesn't have the square behind the basket that lights up and tells you? I mean, the referee's looking from behind. It's clear. His hand is up here. The square lights up. You wave it off. Vandy doesn't have that, so sorry, Vandy, that's your problem. Even
Bob Knight said in the broadcast, and I will never be an apologist for Bob Knight, he couldn't even figure out what the arrangement with the shot
Bob
clock
Knight,
was.
God love him, he was completely lost. He had no clue.
I know the feeling. We're coming to you from Oxmoor Country Club, and you've got a big wedding coming up. This would be a great place to stage it. Oxmoor can help your wedding be smooth and stress-free. With the imagination of Oxmoor's wedding catering team and the dedication of their service staff, Oxmoor will create a celebration that will be treasured for a lifetime. Go to oxmoorcc.com. Well, who's busted at the University of Louisville is Shane Behannon. An injury will keep him out of at least a couple of Big East basketball games.
So we got to alter our plan right now. I didn't know going into the injury, how severe it was until this morning. Without Shane, we're going to have to make certain adjustments. He has become one of our better defensive players, which was a nice surprise for us, and we'll be without him probably from a week to 10 days. He's got a moderate high ankle sprain, and it's in a good area in terms of the swelling, according to Fred. I don't know what that means, but he thinks he'll be back within a week to 10 days, probably going to miss 4 games.
Yeah, Shane Behannon being out again essentially means more playing time for Montrezl Harrell, but it also takes away a good defender for Louisville and a good low post presence for Louisville. So Louisville's not going to be as good as they could be in these next 2 weeks. Now, will they survive? I think they'll be fine.
What's nuts for the University of Kentucky is how this basketball season really is just getting started, and fans are rightfully so already looking forward to next season. Kentucky's recruiting class included the #1 shooting guard, the #1 point guard, and with the addition of Dakari Johnson, now the #1 center.
Syracuse, Georgetown, the University of Kentucky, #1 center in America, the 10th player to announce on ESPN. What you got?
Next season, I will be attending the University of Kentucky.
When it all said and done, what's the biggest factor?
Just Coach Kyle, Coach Owen, Coach Payne, we sat down and talked, and they were just honest people. They were honest from the get-go. And they told me this wasn't a place for me to come if I was selfish or I wanted the ball all the time, and if I didn't want to work hard. But I want to work hard, and I want to get pushed, and I want that pressure on me because that makes me a better player.
Now, this recruiting class is so good and so ridiculous that John Calipari has already come out on his own website and asked people to calm it down. Stop talking about this being the next Fab Five. They're not even on campus yet. But hey, you reap what you sow. That recruiting class is utterly ridiculous. It's the best already, the best assembled 5 that you can imagine coming out of high school. And Andrew Wiggins is still out there, the best player in the country. You might even add him. You might add Randall, who's even better than any of the 5 they've got according to the rankings. So this class is just outrageous. At this point in time, it's as good as last year's class. And if I'm on this year's team, I get my butt in gear, because if I don't make it to the NBA, I'm going to be sitting on the bench next year.
Now, there were some guys that we expected to leave that didn't a couple of years ago when Lamb and Jones decided to come back. Darrell, do you anticipate any of these guys that are forecasted to head to the NBA might come back next year and join this recruiting class?
The only one I can see at this point is Alex Poythress, because his development is lagging so far behind, and he's just struggling to figure it out. He's got to get there. Ryan Harrow possibly, just because I don't know that he's strong enough to ever play in the league, so you might as well hang around a little bit longer and see what you can do. Again, it will depend on what the teams need and what they find out that they, I know you're not that great, but we need a point guard anyway, so we're going to draft you. One of those deals.
What's next for the University of Louisville is who's going to fill in for Shane Bohannon in this important stretch in Big East play. That duty is going to fall to Montrezl Harrell.
He's doing all right. He's doing terrific for a freshman. He just defensively and is caught out of place. He doesn't understand the zone real well. So it's something that I think he'll benefit from, getting a lot of experience now, the same way that Zach and Stephen Ventris did.
Yeah, with Harrell, I mean, he's just going to get better and better and better. The kid's got a 7'4" wingspan, which is crazy. He's not that tall, but he's extremely physical. The dunk at the end of this last game was fantastic. I mean, he's just so incredibly strong. I think the world of Montrezl Harrell. I think the more playing time he gets, the better for Louisville in the future.
And I think the blemish he may have in his game is he's probably not rebounding per his size and the kind of numbers he ought to be pulling off the boards.
And I think that's what you'll hear from Rick Pitino over the next week or so. You've got to rebound, got to rebound, got to rebound. And he's just going to drill it into the kid's head, and eventually he'll get it.
Well, for us, basketball is a game. For the players and coaches, sometimes a grind. We'll talk about that when we come back. As we head to the break, Darrell's going to tell us about the Cat's Paws.
I do appreciate it very much. On this week's cover, all about Alex. It's the big storyline in Kentucky. Everybody seems to be improving. Alex is undergoing some personal instruction with Coach Cal, as are some other players as well. But he's got a ways to go. The talent's there. You've got to figure out how to draw it out of him, and we'll talk about some more of that in the second segment as well. You can subscribe 800-641-3302.
How do you say it?
Bearnose.
Bearnose?
Bearnose.
Bearnose? No matter how you say it, Bearnose has been serving up Louisville-style pizza since 1977 from 13 area locations.
Bearnose. Bearnose.
It's been over 90 years since my grandfather entered the Chevrolet business. Steve and I are proud of our son Ryan and our son-in-law Andrew, who now make the 4th generation. The tradition continues with our dedication to excellence and customer satisfaction. Thank you, Kentuckiana, for making us your #1 Chevrolet dealer. We would like to introduce you to the all-new Bachman Chevrolet.
Did you know that 2/3 of all truck-related crashes are actually caused by cars? Large trucks carry heavy loads and need more room to stop than cars. Merging without leaving enough space between you and a truck could cost you a ticket, or something much worse, your life. Law enforcement will be out on the road writing tickets to make sure both truck and car drivers stay safe. Before merging, be sure you can see both of the truck's headlights in your rearview mirror to ensure proper braking room. This message brought to you by the KSP Commercial Vehicle Enforcement Division.
Join the club at Sam Swope Auto Group. When you service a vehicle at any Sam Swope dealership, you automatically become a Service VIP Rewards member. You get member pricing on parts and service, lost key return, and emergency roadside assistance. Plus, you can earn points that qualify you for discounts on your next vehicle purchase, up to $2,500. The best part is becoming a member is free. Become a member today at any Sam Swope dealership. Nobody walks away because everybody saves.
We didn't always watch football at Buffalo Wild Wings.
It's so great to see you guys outside the office.
So you brew your own beer?
Yeah, for you, bratwurst beer, and this one's a secret. Drink up. This one's ready in 2 minutes.
Protect the football. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
Yeah, I just picked her up. We should be there in 20 minutes. Who is it? Oh, it's him. Where is he?
I know. Yeah, I know.
how do you say it?
Bear nose.
Bear nose?
Beer nose.
Burnos? No matter how you say it, Bear Nose has been serving up Louisville-style pizza since 1977 from 13 area locations.
Bear nose. Bear nose.
Welcome back to Oxmoor Country Club. My name is Corey Kaufman. There's no reason for you to take off this winter. Come join me in our indoor facility to work on your game. Now back to the Red and Blue Review.
And he's just the guy that can fix you up. Corey Kaufman, one of the top teaching instructors in all of the Commonwealth, based right here out of Oxmoor Country Club. Well, we've got some basketball and football that we're going to talk about right now in our Game Time storylines. This portion of the Red and Blue Review is brought to you by the Kentucky State Police. They remind you as you're traveling on the roads across the Commonwealth, leave space for trucks. Game Time storyline number one, it's a game for us, but for the coaches and the players of the Cats, that 18-game schedule in the SEC can be a grind.
I told him after last night's dinner, I just said, now we just went through a great month of training, and now you go on the court and show what you've worked on. And there's going to be bumps in the road, there's going to be ups and downs. It's not going to be like you're just going to beat everybody by 30. You're going to be down at half at times. But the whole point is you got a great foundation now to fight, to battle, to know that you can play with anybody if you choose to.
And that first lesson was learned in Nashville on Thursday night. Oh, you mean if we get ahead by 16 points, the other team won't lay down and go to the house? No, the other teams are going to come back. They have the fan bases that are waiting to rally behind them, and you better learn it now. Vandy's a tough place to play, and the communication problem, but every place on the SEC is going to be tough. And that, if you're a Cat fan, that's always the biggest worry. You got a team so young like Cal has every year. They don't have a clue about SEC road games, the environments. They don't have a clue about the absolute grind of Wednesday, Saturday, nonstop, Wednesday, Saturday. Now it's for 9 straight weeks. They haven't played that many non-conference games. They play once a week in practice, and now comes the grind. You're traveling, you've got class. It just wears you out, and I'm not sure they have a clue what's coming.
Well, one of the things that I think is a concern for Kentucky coming out of that Vanderbilt game is this may be a historically bad Vanderbilt team.
Yes.
I mean, that is not a very good team that they almost lost to, even if they were on the road in Memorial.
And the big alarm, and all the other coaches said, throw a zone up
That's
against
exactly
UK
right.
and watch what happens. So they better figure out how to play against the zone.
It's like Cal's first team. You know, throw a zone on those guys, they freaked out. So it's coming back around. Well, football could be really, really fun this year for the University of Louisville, especially for Teddy Bridgewater, who now has more receivers than he can possibly throw footballs to.
Well, Copeland, he's just honey mustard. He makes plays. He's hard to cover when you play man and try to match him. And Devontae, he's ball fetcher. Coach Watts calls him ball fetcher. You throw it anywhere, he'll go fetch it. He'll catch it. And Eli, he's just one of those guys who can just kill you with his quickness. I think we're going to have to get him a new nickname, Flash. Or he likes to call himself Flatline, but, he runs great routes. He's very quick, and he just helps a lot. He's always in the right place at the right time.
Ever since Deion Branch, Louisville's wide receivers have loved to call themselves the Afros, America's finest receivers on Saturday, AFROS. Now, I think this next year, they could be America's finest receivers on Saturday. I don't know of any college in America that's going to have a deep play threat like Devontae Parker, a single play threat, a first down threat like Damian Copeland, Eli Rogers, who's just flat out fast. And then a guy like James Quick, who's just unbelievable. And then you add in Michael Lee Harris, who's a U.S. Army All-American, Gerald Christian, who's a U.S. Army All-American, the number 1 tight end in the country, transfer from Florida. They might be America's finest receivers on Saturday.
Now, leave it up to me to rain on Howie's big red parade here. The concern is the offensive line, because without time you can't throw it, and without running backs to keep the defensive backs honest, it's tougher throwing it. So let's talk about those two things, running back and the offensive front.
Running back's going to be good. You got Sonoris Perry coming back, Dominic Brown coming back, Brandon Radcliffe. The offensive line's going to be concerned because you got to replace Benavidez and Cupper, 2 college All-Americans. But I think they've got the guys. How fast they can get them ready is the big question.
Well, we've come out to Oxmoor Country Club this week to do the show because it's January, and we could be sitting out here as Howie is in short-sleeve shirts. You're going to be heading out to play golf somewhere here in the next few months. We would invite you to come to Oxmoor Country Club. The layout is fantastic. You can see the golf course is absolutely beautiful. You can find out more by going to oxmoorcc.com for more information. Well, there are 2 things that Cal needs in order for the Cats to do something close to what they did last year: talent and effort. He's got at least one of those.
So, the whole thing, it's not talent, it's an effort level. If you have talent and they give you a great effort, more of an effort than the other team, you do what we did last year. You win most of the games. If you have a talented team that doesn't give you effort, you're going to get beat. Just how it is. A less talented team will outwork the more talented team, and they're going to win. That was the first thing that we had to convince these guys of. The second part of it was the mental discipline you need to sustain 40 minutes. You can't play 3 or 4 minutes and then say, okay, now I'm just going to do what I want to do, which is what we had done throughout. And then the last part of it is how bad they need each other. I mean, I think they're starting to understand it, but I'm not sure they're quite there yet.
And the most interesting about that, Calipari made that comment right before they took off for Vanderbilt, and everything he's talked about came true in a bad way. The effort was not sustained, and a less talented team, if they outwork you, will beat you. They almost did.
Well, Kentucky's going to have a new rebuilding effort underway in football, and it's thanks to the folks in Frankfort. We'll talk about that when we come back. As we head to the break, Howie's going to tell us about CardinalSports.com. Absolutely.
CardinalSports.com is your best source to get all the kind of recruiting news over these next two and a half weeks or so. Louisville's got 13, 14 commitments right now. They've got a couple of new offers out there. Check it out at CardinalSports.com. You can check out video of all the guys who are future Cardinals.
Yeah, I just picked her up. We should be there in 20 minutes. Who is it? Oh, it's him. Where is he?
I know. Yeah, I know.
Join the club at Sam Swope Auto Group. When you service a vehicle at any Sam Swope dealership, you automatically become a Service VIP Rewards member. You get member pricing on parts and service, lost key return, and emergency roadside assistance. Plus, you can earn points that qualify you for discounts on your next vehicle purchase, up to $2,500. The best part is becoming a member is free. Become a member today at any Sam Swope dealership. Nobody walks away because everybody saves.
Hi, I'm Teresa Bachman. Merry Christmas from Bachman Subaru. Our sales, service, and parts departments are now open, and Bachman's new Subaru inventory is the best ever, with 96 Subarus available. With 0% financing available on Forester and Legacy models during the Subaru Share the Love event, plus Bachman's year-end Subaru specials. We also have a great selection of certified pre-owned Subarus. The Subaru Share the Love event, now at Bachman Subaru.
Bachman makes a difference.
Did you know that 2/3 of all truck-related crashes are actually caused by cars? Large trucks carry heavy loads and need more room to stop than cars. Merging without leaving enough space between you and a truck could cost you a ticket, or something much worse, your life. Law enforcement will be out on the road writing tickets to make sure both truck and car drivers stay safe. Before merging, be sure you can see both of the truck's headlights in your rear-view mirror to ensure proper braking room. This message brought to you by the KSP Commercial Vehicle Enforcement Division.
Join the club at Sam Swope Auto Group. When you service a vehicle at any Sam Swope dealership, you automatically become a Service VIP Rewards member. You get member pricing on parts and service, lost key return, and emergency roadside assistance. Plus, you can earn points that qualify you for discounts on your next vehicle purchase, up to $2,500. The best part is becoming a member is free. Become a member today at any Sam Swope dealership. Nobody walks away because everybody saves.
Yeah, I just picked her up. We should be there in 20 minutes. Who is it? Oh, it's him. Where is he?
I know. Yeah, I know.
Welcome back to the Red and Blue Review. How about that view, guys? That is
How about that?
downtown Louisville from right here at Oxmoor Country Club. probably a really good spot on this balcony to watch Thunder over Louisville
yeah.
in a few weeks. But we're going to be watching the Thunder that is the college basketball season, certainly here on Red and Blue Review. But the big topic right now is the fact that football is about to get fixed. Folks in Frankfort are putting the money toward Kentucky improving their facilities.
We are proposing a $110 million renovation of the Nutter Training Facility and Commonwealth Stadium. The renovation will be paid for by athletics using revenues generated by new luxury suites and club seating. We already have a waiting list for these suites. This is critical. The success of our football program is how athletics remains one of the handful of financially self-sufficient programs in the country. It's how athletics funds millions of dollars in academic scholarships and other university needs each year.
The issue is one that I know has been an issue for UK officials, Mitch Barnhart and company, just the frustration of trying to get anything done without, you know, a little bit of backing from Frankfurt. And now the football fan base is so fired up to finally have this situation, to get the new suites put in, the recruiting room, which is like a hot button issue with the diehard football fans at UK that ties into the Nutter Center to entertain the troops, and just a complete renovation. It's going to be really neat. They're going to start on it soon and be finished in 2015.
All right, and Howie, just as we close, talk about the fact that one of the things that Louisville's going to be able to take advantage of, we hope, is the fact not only have they won a bowl game, but they're going to hang on to their coach, unlike when Petrino left after the Orange Bowl.
And that's a big thing. I mean, that really tells you it's an ability to kind of springboard off of that. When you lose a coach right after a big game like that, it makes it so much tougher. Charlie staying means that you can continue to recruit effectively, and going into February, this is going to be a fantastic recruiting class.
All right, see you next time right here on the Red and Blue Review.